Hello students, welcome back. So in this tutorial, I'm going to be talking about Python operators. So over here, I'm going to be focusing more specifically on this arithmetic operators, comparison operator, and assignment operators. So let's first start with the arithmetic operators. So arithmetic operators, you have addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, floor division. Then you have this remainder. Then you have exponentiation. So let's work with each one of them. So let's start with addition. So my x equal to 6, my y equal to 5, and my result equal to x plus y. 6 plus 5, it gets the values get substituted over there, and result is now 11. And if I print this, it's going to print 11. All right, simple. Now, I can also do the same thing using a different style. Sometimes you may not want to print like this. Maybe you want to print different way. So in this case, what I'm doing, I'm not using any result variable. I'm removing the result variable and I'm just doing my print directly over here. Over here, I'm using my string, my f string. So using f string, I'm able to print this stuff out. So x plus y, it performs x plus y inside my print statement. It prints 11. Over here, I'm actually writing addition, colon, and then I'm using my format string. Remember the curly braces that I explained before? So over here, it's going to perform the computation of x plus y. So basically, this is going to do the computation inside that. All right. Then you can also do multiplication and subtraction. So come over here. All right, so x equal to 6, y equal to 5, same thing, and I print x minus y. So my x is 6, y is equal to 5. So if I run this, this should give me 1, x minus y is 1, and x times y is 30. 6 times 5 is 30. No surprises here. You can also perform normal division. So let's come over here. Let's say my x equal to 17 and y equal to 5. So if you perform your normal division, that's going to give you your answer right there. If you want to perform the modular division, another name for that is floor division. This is the notation you use. You use x forward slash y. And if you want to perform remainder division, you use the percentage sign. So let me explain you what each one of these terms they mean. Let me start with an example. And let's say you were doing 17, right? So 5, 17. Okay, 5 goes into 17 by 3, 15, and your remainder is 2. This is what you can access your remainder line from. Okay, this is what it does. It actually gives you your remainder. This one is your floor division, 3. This is how you get your floor division. So you can rewrite this expression like this: 3, 2 over 5, which is same as 3.4. And 3.4 is what you got over here like there. So this is how you came with these numbers, okay? 3, 2, 3.4. So this is your 3, this is your 2, and 3.4. All right. Let me just remove this now. Okay. And now is my favorite right here, exponentiation. So let's say you want to raise something to the power something. You want to say x3 to the power 4. So in this case, basically what I'm doing, I want to do this. I want to say 3 to the power 4. And the answer is 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. All right. And then you can do your computation over here. All right. So if you do this, the answer is going to be 81. All right. So this is how you can do your exponentiation, meaning something to the power. So by using two multiplication sign next to each other, it's going to raise that to the power. You can also increase the power. So let's increase the power a little bit. Let's see what it does. Okay. So come over here and let's raise the power a little bit. So I say x equal to 3, y equal to 40, and result equal to x exponential y. So I'm changing my 4 to 40. Okay, let's increase the power. Let's see what it does. And this is my answer. All right, so one of my students says, how far can we go? Can we keep increasing? I say, yeah, let's do that. That sounds like a good idea. So I did that. Came over here. I changed my y from 40 to 40,000, 4,000. All right, let's run that. And there you go. It gave me this answer. Now, then he said, you know what? I want to do some more. He put like maybe bunch of zeros over there. And then he ran this. Now if you run this, depending on the speed of your computer, this can either take maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. So just be aware of that. Okay, I'm not going to do this thing because this can take 5-10 minutes. All right, so next, comparison operators. Comparison operator, what they do, they allow you to compare the data values. They allow you to compare objects, okay? Like whether this is smaller than, whether this is smaller than or equal to, whether this is greater than, whether this is greater than or equal to, whether this is same, like whether this is equal to this, or whether this is not equal to this. So you have all these comparison operators. Now, comparison operator always returns a Boolean variable. Boolean variables are something that is either true or false. They can only take two values, true and false, true or false. All right, so if I print my Boolean variable, let's come over here. Let me just add some more cells over there. All right, so if I print true, it's going to print true. If I print false, it's going to print false. There you go. Now, the thing about Boolean variable is that these variables are already defined by your machine, by the Python. So if I print something else, okay, if I print, let's say something, some random character, it's going to throw me an error. Okay, the error is because this is not defined. On the other hand, true and false is defined, and because it is defined, it prints out true and false. So it's only going to work for these variables because these are special variables and they are defined by the Python. All right, so let's say you have x equal to 16 and y equal to 15. And result equal to x greater than y. So what this does, as I said, is going to return a true or false. So is this true? Result, is this true where your x is greater than y? Let's see. If you run this, it's going to say, yeah, it is true because 16 is greater than 15. So since 16 is greater than 15, my result becomes true. And when I print my result, it gives me true. By the way, you can also see what type of variable that is. So let me comment this out and let me type print type of result, and that's going to tell you it's a class Boolean. All right. Or if you want, you can print this value directly. If you don't want to create this another variable, okay, you just want to see whether whether this is greater than this, you can print this value directly. So over here, I'm not using this result anymore. I'm just printing my true and false directly over here. You can do this one too. Likewise, you can check if something is smaller than if something is smaller than the other value. So if you run this, it's going to print false because 16 is not smaller than 15. All right. You can also check some more. You can play around. You can actually do a lot more over here now. You can check if 13 is greater than 15. 13 is smaller than 15, and it's going to print true. All right. And maybe you can also check if something is greater than or equal to other value. So in this case, I'm checking whether 15 is greater than or equal to y, okay, which is 15. So let's run this, and it prints out true. You can also check if something is smaller than, if it's less than or equal to y. You can also check that. So there you go. My x equal to 13, my y equal to 15. And let's run this. And is 13 less than or equal to 15? And the answer is yes, it is. It is less than 15. Then there's another operator, which is double equal to. What this actually does, it checks the value if the value are same or not. So in this case, let's say my x equal to 15 and my y equal to 15. So I want to print x double equal to y. Basically, this is an operator that actually checks whether the value of this is equal to value of that. And likewise, there is another operator which is not equal to. So this is going to check whether this is not equal to this. So this, whatever this value is going to negate the value. So this one actually, it negates, negates the, all right. So it's going to negate this operator. So whatever this operator returns, if it returns true, this is going to return false. Okay, so this is checking whether x equal to y, and the answer is yes, it is equal to y, so it returns true. This is checking whether x is not equal to y. Well, that part is not true because x equal to y, so that's why it returns false. Let's go to this example now. Now here my x equal to 17 and y equal to 15. So if I run this, it's going to print false because x equal to is my x same as y? My value of x, is it same as value of y? And the answer is no, it's not. So it is false. On the other hand, is x not equal to y? Is this true? Well, that part is true. Basically, x and y, they are not same, right? So it prints out true. That's what's happening over here. We can also compare strings, by the way. You don't have to just work with the numbers. You can also do with the strings. So if you come over here, and let me just few cells. Okay, so let's say my x equal to a, which is a string, and y equal to d, which is a string, and I print x greater than y. So I want to check if my x is greater than y. In this case, it's false because the string comparison is done lexicographically, meaning your a is smaller than b, b is smaller than c, c is smaller than d, and so on and so forth. So this is what's happening behind the scene. So because of that, this actually prints false. All right, now behind the scene, what's happening is Python actually uses this odd. So this is an odd, it's a short for ordinal, and actually odd is short for ordinal values, okay? Oops, sorry, ordinal values. Okay, so this is gonna compare on the ordinal value. So what's happening over here is comparing the ordinal values. So if I run this, it's gonna print the ordinal values of each one of them. So ordinal value for x is 97 and ordinal value of y is 100. So based on the ordinal values, it's actually doing this comparison whether x is greater than y or not. So basically behind the scene, it's converting into ordinal values. Okay, let's say you have a string like that, ABC, okay, and ABD. Now if you run this, it's going to print false. And the reason it prints false, because look, A and A is same, B and B is same, but the C part is what actually throws it off. And so when it compares this, it's going to say, hey, C is not greater than D. So because it is not greater than D, it's going to print false. And it prints false. All right. If I take the same thing, and if I put right here, ABC, ABD, same thing, but I put ZZZ over there. Would that change the answer? Because I'm changing the length of my string. So would that change the answer? Let's find out. Nope, that would not change the answer because it's doing character by character comparison. So it's comparing character A with A, B with B, and C with D. So as soon as it sees this character and this is smaller, it's gonna say, hey, this is false. It's gonna not even go to the next one. So this is called string comparison using this is basically string comparison using a lexicograph. Let's say you have another one. All right, let's say A equal to Bobbitt and B equal to boss. Now if you run this, it's going to print false. All right, and the reason it prints false is because B right there is not smaller than S. Okay, it's just, actually it is smaller than S, and because it is smaller than S, that's why it's printing false over here. You can also compare your list. So let's say you have a list ABC, A equal to 1, 2, 3 and B equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. You can even do comparison of that and it's going to print false because because B is not less than A. So based on that, it's going to do that comparison. All right, now comes assignment operators. Let's see, yeah. Okay, assignment operator, basically what they do, they assign a value to your variable. That's what your assignment operators do. We have been working with assignment operators, by the way. Every time when we say something equal to something, that's your assignment variable. So let's look at this example. Let me just open up a few cells. All right. So if I say A equal to 5, basically I'm assigning my value 5 to my variable A. So this is called assignment operator. That's what your assignment operators are. If I run this and I print my A, it prints out 5 over here. On the other hand, if I print, let's say some variable, let's call it JJJ. If I run this, it's going to throw an error because this variable is not assigned anywhere. Okay, so this is going to be an error. Okay, occasionally So you have this assignment operator, then you also are going to see this plus equal to, minus equal to, times equal to, percent equal to. So these are short notation. These are short notation for writing expressions like some expression of these types right here. So let's say you have a salary and you give somebody some raise. Okay. You have a salary and give somebody a raise. All right, so let's say your C equal to 12 and A equal to 3. So one way to do this one would be you can just say C equal to C plus A. All right, and what happens is that it takes the value 12, which is right there, adds A to that, which is 3. So 12 plus 3 is 15, and this C now becomes 15. So this, when I print my C, it prints my 15. Now this type of operation, C equal to C plus A, in mathematics, this type of operation happens a lot. Sometimes you may want to overwrite the previous value of your variable. You don't want to create a new variable. You just want to overwrite the previous value. So this is a pretty handy a syntax. So this operation happens so many times that the creators of Python, they have actually created this little syntax right here. So instead of writing such a long expression, you can actually say C plus equal to A right there. So this is same as this. Now when you run this, it's going to print the same answer. If I run this, let me comment this line out, and let me run this, and you see that it prints out 15. So just like they have for the they have this operator for addition, you also have for the subtraction. Run this. There you go, subtraction. So basically what this is doing, same thing, is overwriting the previous value of C. So it's taking the new value of C, which is 12 minus 3, and so 12 minus 3 is 9, and it's gonna overwrite the previous value, which was 12, and C now becomes 9. So when you run this, it gives you 9. And then you can do the same thing with multiplication. So come over here, and let's say your C equal to 12 and A equal to 0.3. Okay, and when you do the multiplication, you basically performing this multiplication, right? You multiplying C by A, and you storing the value back into C. You can do the same thing like that. You can overwrite the previous value of C, and there you go. Okay, remainder. This is the same thing we did up there. So you can even do the remainder. Okay, C equal to 10, A equal to 7, and for some reason, let's say you divide C by A, and then you overwrite the previous value of C. So you can do the same thing using this little syntax right here. And you run this, and there you go. It prints out 3. And then finally, you can also do the same thing with division. So come over here. If you run the division, same thing, C equal to C divided by A. So instead of writing this expression, I can just say C divide equal to A. And if you run this, that's going to print your 2.5. All right. Thank you, gentlemen, for this session.